Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another Crucible Cast video. I am joined today by my good friends, Matt Holland, Brad Andrews, myself, Josh Massey. I'm not joined by me, but I am me. And then we've got Jim Cartwright joining us for the first time today. Jim, do you want to give us a little bit of information about yourself before we get this rolling?
Yeah, sure. So I am the new card game department manager. So I'm super excited to be part of the KeyForge team and, of course, the Crucible Cast. Yeah, I actually come from a competitive card game environment. That's actually how I was introduced to FFG. So I have that in my blood, and I'm really excited as a KeyForge player to be part of this. So.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the new role.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And let me just say, for the whole KeyForge team, we're super excited to have you, Jim.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
It's been
his
fun
boss
working with
now,
you.
by the way.
It's true.
Yeah. Also, no, not his boss.
So before we jump into this,
Yeah.
just so everybody's aware, we are going to be talking about a few key points today. We're going to be talking about a very exciting milestone that we've just hit. We're going to be recapping the 3 vault tours that we've had so far with Age of Ascension. We are going to be talking about some really cool, exciting things that happened at Origins with Brad. We're going to be talking about some new OP events and then some rules updates.
Yes, indeed.
So we'll get this thing rolling with a very exciting milestone that we just recently hit.
Super exciting milestone. So we actually just crossed 1 million decks registered on the Master Vault app. So that is huge. Thank you for that. That's
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So we also, and as a reward for that, I believe we gave 10 Amber Shards to all of the Master Vault accounts. Is that correct?
We did.
I should actually check my account. I haven't watched for
yes.
that.
I should too. I just spent all my Amber Shards at Origins.
Oh, yeah.
I could definitely use some more.
Nice.
There you go.
Awesome.
Top you up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Thank you all for being a part of this and what KeyForge has become.
Yes.
So, moving forward, let's start talking about some of the OP events that we've just recently had. I mentioned that we are finally in Age of Ascension.
Yes.
And we've had a few Vault Tours already. Matt, being on the OP team, is going to tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so we kicked off Age of Ascension in Birmingham, England, with the UK Games Expo Vault Tours. These were both sealed events, so we saw Shadows as the #1 house both days across the decks used. I suspect in part that's due to a new meta and people kind of knowing, hey, Shadows is a good bet, it's a strong house, let's stick with that.
Go where your comfort
just
level
behind
lies.
them was Sanctum on day 1 and Dis on day 2, so
Yeah, it was really tight.
pretty good variety, actually, yeah.
I'm a huge House Sanctum fan, so
Yeah.
excited
There
for
you
that.
go. There's a lot of
Sanctum's
cool new
my
cards
house
for
as well.
this in Age of Ascension.
And then it's definitely clear why players gravitate toward Shadows. Steel is so effective. It's the most efficient way to get Amber in the game, and so it's a pretty easy. Well, go here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're
There's
slowing down your opponent, you're helping yourself.
there's a good comfort level with Shadows.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And with the UK Games Expo tournament happening only a couple days after release, I can totally see it. I probably would have made the same decision.
Yeah.
Well, then a couple weeks later, we go to Origins in Ohio, which you were at, I believe.
It's true.
And day 1, Untamed takes the #1 spot, followed by Shadows, and then Sanctum. So we did see Nox as the most common card used in Untamed, which is saying to me this was an Archon event, so people brought their own decks.
Yeah.
That indicates to me there's a lot of Age of Ascension being played there, even with people who are very used to their powerful Call of the Archons decks. Day 2, Shadows jumped into the lead, 67%. Logos, Dis, and Untamed kind of making up the bulk of the remaining decks.
But with that, with
Yes.
Shadows being the most common house, Dusk Chronicles was still the most common card,
Yes.
which is another Age of Ascension card.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we can see a lot of powerful Age of Ascension decks popping up in Ohio, and making themselves known.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
And I think just last weekend in Italy, we had a pretty large Vault Tour there with a really strong field of competitors, people who have won or placed very well at previous Vault Tours. Alessandro Storti ended up winning that event. 82% of decks, this was Archon again, had Shadows.
Wow.
Urchin, which is a Call of the Archons card, being the #1. Dis at 60%, everybody else below 50. So a lot of Shadows, a lot of Dis, but apparently a lot of Amber Rush decks with Untamed.
Yeah, so that was day 1 of the event. You saw all of
Yeah.
those really common, the Shadows Disc decks. But day 2 is where you saw that big changeover and saw a lot of really cool
That's day
rush.
2, people advancing, not just another
Exactly.
day
Yeah.
of
Not
prelims.
day 1A, day 1B.
Yes.
There was a single day 1, and then on day 2, you saw a lot of those untamed rush decks, which is really, really cool to see.
Decks with 4 dust pixies,
Yeah.
and key charge, just
So much amber.
Ember, forge a key. That's
Yeah.
And really, that just shows one of the coolest parts about KeyForge is that such different metas can form.
Yeah.
And you see this very different thing happening only weeks prior in Ohio.
Yep.
Then Italy, it's completely different.
Well, and I think the most exciting thing about Italy is how well their meta was actually built.
yeah,
because
crystallized really quickly and effectively.
yeah, because all of the untamed decks that were rushing for this amber were shut down by all of the decks that were designed to shut it down.
Shut it
You had a
down.
lot of proclamations from Sanctum,
Yep.
and it
Drop
was just
buggy being used. Those things that make those keys more expensive to forge, and these are those new Age of Ascension cards too.
yeah.
Those Age of Ascension cards can really, really punish decks that try and go too hard on their Amber card.
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So yeah, that's our kind of our Vault Tour recap.
That's awesome. Perfect.
So we talked a little bit about that. You talked about Origins,
Yes.
and we have these,
You may have
these
noticed.
statues here. Brad, you were at Origins, weren't you?
I was, and while I was there, I had the pleasure of attending the Origins Awards and the great honor of accepting 2 awards, one for fan favorite collectible card game and one from the Academy for favorite collectible card game. And it was just tremendous. I mean, it's still it feels very overwhelming. I can't thank
bet.
everyone out there watching enough. The fan community has been so amazing. I want to thank Richard Garfield again. And honestly, the whole KeyForge team is really pulled together. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
this
thank you.
means everything to us, and we want to keep making this wonderful game and providing you guys with hours and hours of fun.
You guys have done a great job, so it's exciting to see it recognized by GAMA and the community. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. And again, thank you to all of you for that. That's
Yes.
incredible. And because you've been so good to us, we're going to be good to you and give you some new OP events. And we'll have Matt chat with you about those a little bit.
We talked about the Vault Tours. That's really been the biggest OP sort of presence in KeyForge so far. We've had those local chainbound events, but
Yep.
it's time for store championships. KeyForge's first chance at these next step of local events. Store championships, those kits are available to order at your game store right now, so if they haven't, make sure they do. Store can order one kit and hold a store championship when it's convenient for them. We're also going to be mixing up formats in terms of what ways they can run it. So your store championship could be Archon Solo, Archon Reversal, to dig into some of those decks that maybe don't work in the traditional way that you are used to. Sealed Solo or Sealed 2-deck Survival, which I think is a favorite of Josh here. They're not chainbound.
Correct.
But any deck that wins a store championship is going to go straight to power level 3. So a nice way to power your deck up, try some new things, and compete for some pretty cool prizes, which
Yeah.
Josh's team makes.
Yeah, we're trying to give you some cool stuff. We're working on it real hard.
Yeah, you got playmats, power tokens, deck boxes,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff, and of course, Ember Shards to go along with those 10 that you guys got for the million decks.
Yep. And we talked about it, but just want to make sure that you guys are all aware as well that you mentioned power level 3.
Yes.
Just like with everything else KeyForge, if you win another not Vault Tour, sorry, I'm so used to saying Vault Tour. If you win another store championship with a deck that is already power level 3, it will not jump up to 6, it'll stay
Correct.
at 3. So this is a way for you to kind of sort through your decks and get a few of them to power level 3. And,
Bring different ones.
yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And it's not just store championships. We're not quite ready to announce them, but Prime Championships, the next level in the store level organized play, will be announced soon. Your stores will be able to apply for those. They're larger events. They've got better prizes, better rewards. So keep an eye out for those to be announced soon.
Yep.
Super exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your stores will be made aware, and so will you. So definitely keep on them on that one. And then I think the final thing that we have to talk about today is going to be all of our rules updates.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah.
So-
Brad, do you have any rule updates for us today?
Oh, well, I heard this new set came out last month, and there's been a lot of questions coming in, but none as much as our favorite owl, Archimedes.
He is my favorite owl.
He's mine too, and he's been causing a lot of debate in the community, exactly how he works, and we wanted to take the opportunity today to just lay that out so everyone can understand
Put a nail in it.
exactly how Archimedes functions. So the card in question is Archimedes. He is a 2-power Logos creature, a cyborg beast. He has elusive, and the most important part, each of Archimedes' neighbors gains destroyed. Archive this creature. Now, the question has come up, how does Archimedes' ability affect cards like, let's say, Unlock Gateway from Age of Ascension, which reads Omega, it's an action card that reads Omega, play, destroy each creature. So if every creature on the board is being destroyed, how exactly does Archimedes'
Who's going to be
resolve?
archived and who's going to be just destroyed?
Yep.
Exactly. So here it is, the definitive explanation. There we go.
Doing drum roll?
So let's in this situation, I have Archimedes. Archimedes is flanked by Ortanu the Chained, Charette, Kolf the Quiet, and Titan Mechanic. My opponent plays Unlock Gateway as their last card, destroying each creature in play. This now essentially tags all these creatures that are in play as being destroyed. However, before creatures are removed from play and put into the discard pile, all destroyed abilities must be resolved. So in this case, Charette and Ortanu both have destroyed ability from Archimedes' effect. My opponent is the active player and will choose which of those destroyed abilities must resolve first. Now again, this is before any creature leaves play. They choose Charette, and Charette is moved into my archives, resolving its destroyed ability. However, to maintain the integrity of the game state, the battle line immediately collapses, and Titan Mechanic is now Archimedes' neighbor. This means that Titan Mechanic gains destroyed, archive this creature, which means it is another destroyed effect that must resolve before any creatures leave play. My opponent then chooses to resolve Ortanu the Chain's destroyed effect, meaning that goes into my archive, and Kolf the Quiet also now becomes Archimedes' neighbor and gains destroyed, archive this creature. My opponent then must choose between the Titan Mechanic and the Kolf the Quiet. Yep. They choose Kolf the Quiet, that goes in my archives. And then they have to choose again, and they choose Titan Mechanic, going into my archives as well. At that point, all the destroyed effects are gone, and Archimedes is finally destroyed and put into my discard pile. With that, the Unlock Gateway is finished resolving and is put into my opponent's discard pile. And that's how that one resolves.
It
Yes.
seems to make sense to me now that I've had it showed right in front of me by the man himself.
Yeah, it's an intricate rules interaction, but it maintains the game state and means that all the other fun interactions in the game continue to function exactly how you've come to know and love them.
And I think the thing that people were stumbling over, and the thing that I had not understood until we talked just a little bit ago, the important part is that all destroyed effects happen before any creature is removed.
Exactly, and that's why you can't, for example, just be like, well, I'm the active player, I choose Archimedes to go to the discard pile first.
Yeah, or the Titan Mechanic, or...
Whichever, you're just not allowed to, because you need to finish
makes sense.
resolving all of those destroyed abilities before you can do that.
Yeah,
Cool.
and this
That
follows
makes
suits with cards like Bad Penny.
Yep,
Otherwise, she just wouldn't work.
Exactly,
So-
exactly.
Okay, great.
Awesome. What else do you have?
So another big question that's been coming up is with the card Drummer Knot and Ganger Chieftain. Ganger Chieftain, always been a popular card for rules questions, and its interaction with Drummer Knot is actually pretty cool and interesting.
Yeah.
So Drummer Knot reads, play Fight Reap, return another friendly giant creature to your hand. Now, Ganger Chieftain is a giant, and so let's take, for example, the question is, if I have both these cards in my hand, how much amber could I get if my opponent doesn't have any creatures in play? So, in this case, the first card you'd want to play would be the Drummer Knot. It would come into play exhausted. Its ability wouldn't trigger. We'll just assume you don't have anything else in play, so it can't return another giant.
Sure.
Then we're going to play the Ganger Chieftain as Drummer Knot's neighbor. Its play ability will resolve, readying the Drummer Knot, allowing you to then use it to reap. Now, the important thing to remember here is the game does follow the rule of 6. And by playing the drummer knot and then using the drummer knot, you've now used up 2 instances of the rule of 6. The drummer knot's ability after reaping will then resolve, allowing you to return the Jaeger Chieftain to your hand. You'll replay it, readying the drummer knot and reaping with it, bringing this back, playing it again, reaping with it, so on and so forth until you've filled up your rule of 6, which means that you're going to get 5 amber because you used up one of your rule of 6 by playing the drummer
Playing the
knot
card
in the
in
first
Yep.
place.
So if drummer knot was already on the field, then you could use it the full 6 times. But in this example, with them both being in hand, you are only able to get the 5 because playing is a use.
Exactly.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really the most pure expression of the rule of 6 you can get, is just that it counts 2 things: playing a card and using a card. And using a card is specifically exhausting it, turning it sideways for a
It's
fight.
not, for
or reap.
example, you play that action and you use that action's effect, but that's not a use of a card for purposes of the rule of 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Great. Well, that
Anything
Hopefully
else?
I think those are the 2 big ones. We are going to be pushing out an FAQ very soon. We're still working on that, but we'll hopefully have it before too long.
okay.
And I think if you have questions in the interim, you can email Brad and the team at, was it KF Rules?
KFrules@fantasyflightgames.com. The link should be below.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, thank you all.
That's a Crucible Cast, right?
That's
Yeah.
Crucible Cast.
Yeah. And thank you all for joining us. We're very excited to have you every single week or every single month. Every single month. We look forward to seeing you the last Saturday of next month as well. In the meantime, though, be sure to subscribe. Click that little bell down
Ding,
below the
ding.
video here to be notified when we post new content. And follow us on Twitter, the Instagrams, Facebook, and all of those links are going to be down in the description.
Indeed.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Wonderful. Catch you guys later.